Hello and welcome to Conspiracy in Real Time, the greatest show on earth. I am your host, Joshua Stonecutter, and I am coming to you extremely medicated and totally unregulated. And that's serious. And I'm serious about that. There is a reason you can't find me on the internet. There is a reason if you do a Google search for conspiracy in real time, um, my channel won't pop up. There was a period in time where if you searched my YouTube show on YouTube, you couldn't find it. How messed up is that? Like I had to direct link people. Look, they keep giving me subscribers. By the way, we broke 100 subscribers in like no time at all. So thank you for every single person that's subscribing. Please comment and tell me where you guys are at. I want to know where everybody's at around the country. The ultimate goal behind this is to connect with some people that are not sent in as part of like my family or this whole like targeting thing. Like, because I'm realizing, you guys, every single girl, I believe every single woman that I've ever dated, every single woman. And this stuff is tied in with like DNA collection, sperm collection. There's been a lot of that. Like hindsight's 2020. You know what I'm saying? And if your only response, check this out, and this is for all the Reddit people out there, this is for every single person on Reddit. If your only response is to gaslight me or to just simply say, oh, you're crazy, yo, man, that doesn't work anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? It has no effect on me. Maybe it has like a little bit of effect on other people, but that's people are catching on, you know? And that's why the two topics we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about narcissistic abuse and we're going to talk about how that relates to targeted individuals. And that's also tied in with the other topic, which is hacked cell phones. But again, I want to say thank you to the subscribers. What you guys need to understand is that if you even found this channel, if you're watching this and you're scratching your head, then you need to listen to what I'm saying. You need to pay attention to what I'm saying, because the things I'm talking about, they're happening all over the country. They're happening all over the country and they're happening to people all over the country. I am out on the streets. Okay. I work out on street corners collecting signatures on petitions from registered voters and citizens of Florida. I trust me, I'm very plugged in to like the heartbeat of what is going on right now in this country. And I believe one of the reasons they have me shadow banned and limited for a number of reasons. So to where nobody can see me. People, you see, I want people to have the option. I want them to have the ability to say, to at least hear me out for like a few minutes and say, no, this, I don't want to listen to this, because a lot of it is cognitive dissonance. A lot of people are going to tune me out and tune me off because they are not ready to hear the things that I have to say, because they are that disturbing. And the reason it's tied in with narcissistic abuse is because these people, I call them the SS because they're all in secret societies and stuff. They hide behind narcissistic abuse. So if you study and you research narcissistic abuse, it will help you navigate probably your relationships. Because look, if this stuff is happening to you, this is the hardest part to swallow. If this is happening to you, it's connected with your family. And if you are a targeted individual, you have a lot of similarities with me. You grew up going to church, or you used to go to church when you were a kid, or your parents went to church a lot. Unfortunately, these people are hiding out in the churches. They're hiding out in the churches. That is the best place for them to hide. And when I say they, I'm talking about the P's, the PEDs, you guys, the PEDs. The town I grew up in is just apparently, and I just learned this within the last couple of weeks, filled with them. It's absolutely filled with them. So you'd have to research narcissistic abuse. You have to watch as many videos as you can on it, because the way it works is when you bring in, this is the thing. This is the deal for targeted individuals. You have been being abused your entire life. You've been being abused your entire life, but you don't realize it because everybody's been abusing you. I don't want to get into the hows and whys too much. I am going to talk about it a little bit with the hacked phones, but it is tied in with our cell phones. So if you are a victim of narcissistic abuse, okay, you need to research narcissistic abuse. You need to research narcissistic abuse syndrome, which is like what we all have. But this is where it gets really confusing, because if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they are likely one of these people. Because I can't seem to, for the life of me, you guys, I can't seem to find a couple where it's like a man and a woman and neither of them know anything about this stuff. The people that I run into are couples and they're both involved in it. They both know all about it. I'm not telling them anything they don't know. Or it's a husband, it's a girl and a guy, and the guy knows but the girl doesn't, or the girl knows and the guy doesn't. And the reason I'm telling you all this stuff is because I'm out there collecting signatures on petitions. And the people who are doing this stuff, which I'm starting to think, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm starting to think that who these people are people that may have been alive for a couple hundred years. And they're like, it's just a theory I have. This stuff is related to all the research at the University of Florida. It has to do with blood. It has to do with concentrate. Like, I'm always talking about the concentrated weed that I smoke. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's what this is all about. And I recently discovered that it looks like there's people traveling around underneath the ground. And look, this is how, if you're with a 3-letter agency, if you're like spying on me, this is how you know that I know. I've been working right next to one of y'all's little spots where there's like an abnormally large amount of people popping up from, look, they're not coming down through this. They're not coming from the sky. Okay. And if you're watching, because there are people that are keeping tabs on me. Do you see what I'm saying? There are people that are keeping tabs on me. And this is how they will know right now that I am serious, because you guys know where I've been working. I've been working right around where all these people are coming up unexplained. Look, they have to be coming up out of the ground. Like, where else are they coming from? They're not just materializing there. We don't have, this isn't Star Trek or whatever where you can transport. We're just not there yet with technology. I used to have one of those like I used to have like 4 hamster cages, and they were all connected with all these plastic tubes and everything running all over my room. It's like that. You ever been to Epcot? I was in Epcot one time, and I was in Space Mountain, right? I was in Space Mountain, which is totally blacked out roller coaster, and the roller coaster stopped and all the lights came on, and it was just like this big mess of track going everywhere. It was crazy to see it. It was a engineering masterpiece, a modern marvel. Who knows how long these tubes and stuff have been there? They call them that's what I think. Okay, so somebody's asking me, they keep asking about the Travis Scott thing. Well, this now I do have an opinion on it. This is what I think the Travis Scott thing was about, with the portal opening up and everything. That was signifying, and that was representative of a portal, probably like, two tubes joining underground or something. You know what I mean? Like China meeting the US or something like that. It was signifying a new opening, a new portal opening up. And if I had to guess, I would guess it probably has something to do with Texas, Austin, Texas. But that's just a guess, because that's where they were. That's the town. And there's a lot of ties to group stalking and gang stalking with Austin, Texas. There's a lot of connections with this stuff with the college towns. Like, I'm sure you'll find a lot of connections with Ann Arbor and stuff like that. But for the people who are watching me and keeping tabs on me, this is how you will know that I do know what I'm talking about. Because I know which people you have watching the portals and giving hand signals and motioning to tell people if they're good to come up or not, or if they're good to go down or whatever. I haven't figured out all the particulars. But yeah, I do know where they're at. I don't really know how else to say it. No, there's nothing wrong with me. And look, I wouldn't have found any of this stuff out. I wouldn't have even been looking at this stuff if my dad hadn't bought me that piece of crap car. That was just like, and he, not only did he buy me a piece of crap car, somebody says that they're in Austin, Texas. So like, yeah, Austin, well, my one viewer. Well, look, and this person who's talking with me from Austin, Texas, like straight up, statistically speaking, the person who just commented is a gang stalker. They're in Austin, Texas. This person sent me a page to be friends with, not their actual Facebook. So I couldn't even add a friend. It was just like, oh, message them or not message them. It was a page. It wasn't their Facebook profile. Like that's what they do. So they have a Facebook page, the regular Facebook page, and they create a page that looks like a Facebook profile, and that's what they use for all the gaslighting and group stalking. Or maybe she just made an accident or something. But I don't, who knows? I don't know. Statistically speaking, you know what I'm saying? Because look, I don't believe I actually have anybody watching my channel except group stalkers. That's what you guys need to understand, which is why this message is for the people in the underground. It is for the people that do know about this stuff. It is for the people that are knowingly abusing their kids. You don't have to be doing this. You don't. They don't have as much power over you as you would think. I think a lot of it is the ingestation of things that are keeping these people young. I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad deal. You want to you want to live infinitely. I mean, people have been looking for that forever. The people who are popping up out of the ground, who are traveling around in these tubes, you know what I'm saying? There's a price that you pay for that. And I believe the price you pay is selling your whole family into like literal slavery. I think that's what these people are doing in exchange for this stuff. No, thank you. You know what I mean? Let's talk about hacked phones for a minute, because I've been talking with some people in some narcissistic abuse forums, and they were talking about hacked phones and blah blah blah. This is how they get you, and this is how they'll get you into a mental institute real quick. And I know because it's happened to me. Your spouse or your loved one will hack your phone. They will put messed up software on it. They will be spying on you using your own Bluetooth connection and all this weird stuff, because they're using apps and technology that are not available to the general public, but they're all sharing it amongst themselves in the underground. So they're able to see where I am. They're probably able to see where their neighbors are and all this stuff. So I have that. So there's the individuals that are doing it. Like, look at it this way, okay? Like, let's say you're a girl and you start dating a guy who was in the military. Well, that's all you know. He was in the military. And if you talk to anybody in the military about what they did in the military, all they talk about is like, oh, well, they just sat around like, tightening bolts and loosening screws and doing drills. According to them, they don't do anything, right? But here's the deal. Being in the military is boot camp for being actively like involved as a quote unquote citizen. These people that are running around it's like this dual life, you know what I'm saying? They're married, they have kids or whatever, but they're also still doing stuff for the United States military at the same time. So it's insane. Like, so what I'm saying is, like, if you are with somebody like this, or you're in one of these families, your phone is going to get hacked and you're going to get spied on by people around you, right? And then you're also going to get hacked and spied on by the government as well. So it gets very, really, really confusing. But there are apps out there that people make that will do the same exact thing as another app, but they'll get you to download it. Let me give you a for instance. When I was in AA, I started traveling and I wanted to be able to go to meetings when I was on the road. Well, I had 2 or 3 different people suggest these like apps to find meetings and stuff, and like half of them didn't even work. In hindsight's 2020, looking back on it now, those were people getting me to download apps where either they were the developer of the app or they knew the developer of the app, and the whole purpose of the app was just simply to spy on you. Because you download an app, you give it these permissions, and then boom, they're looking. I mean, it's just as simple, and everybody keeps thinking like, oh, well, I don't have anything. It's like there's these different excuses, but all the excuses are done by the SS, and they go like, well, that's not really happening. You know what I'm saying? They're not. And then the next excuse is, well, I don't have anything to hide, and like you shouldn't be a criminal, and maybe you did something wrong. So it's like either an outright denial that you're targeted. You know what I'm saying? There's just an outright denial. No, you're not even going through this. You're crazy. And that's where the hacked phone stuff comes in. If you go to your local police or you go to a hospital and you tell them my phone is being hacked, there's people spying on me, they will send you to a mental institute. because at the hospital, they know all about it. They know that you're being spied on. They know that the R word happened to you growing up. Like I said in my previous episodes, when I tell somebody my name's Joshua Wickham, I believe that I'm telling them, hello, I grew up in a cult like atmosphere. I likely got done in the booty when I was a little kid. And my parents were probably like some kind of, CIA pagan Satanist or something like that. Also, my last name means wicked or Wickham, Wiccan or something like that. There's so much in our names. You know what I mean? Like these, and I've learned all this. It's taken me years to learn all this. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this, I've been slowly researching this stuff ever since 2000 when I just, or no, like 1999 when I just kind of got a little interest in it. Somebody told me that all the gas companies were owned by secret societies and that their symbols were in the emblems, and it just kind of went from there. And I've always just kind of had an eye on it, but I don't think the people in my life knew that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like my pastor, my parents, they didn't know that I've been like had all this knowledge about secret society stuff. And then just in the last year or two, it's just been like mad research, mad research. If you want to know more about the targeted individual thing, research the Franklin cover up, research Michael Aquino, because this is the reality of it, you guys. This whole country was founded on the snake or paganism or whatever. And there was never a time when there was like Christianity was like roaming around in the United States. There has to be like hundreds of people like me who have come along the way. And there has to be hundreds and thousands of us out there roaming around, but they have us all separated. Like, I still don't believe I've been in contact with another person who is basically in the same boat that I am. I've run into a lot of people who are pretending like they're targeted. And a lot of them are females. It's the weirdest thing. I get approached by so many fake targeted individuals all the time. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And they have this way to where like they can watch my videos, but I don't actually get the views. So I might have like millions of people watching my videos. I mean, it's very, very possible. I have millions of people watching it, but they will always keep my numbers down. Do you see what I'm saying? I just posted a video earlier about how iPhones and Androids are given different priorities. You know what I'm saying? They're giving iPhone users more privileges and letting them do more stuff with apps. And my video got 6 views. What do you mean, like out in the street? Somebody just said like out in the street. What does that mean? Like out in the street? Sorry, just do like a full sentence or whatever. But like going back to the narcissistic abuse and the hacked phone thing, because I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I'm in a group on Facebook and this subject came up. It does get confusing, but what you need to understand is this: if you are in a relationship with like a hardcore narcissist, like, and there's weird stuff going on with your phones, like, and you can't look at their phone. Okay, look, these are the signs right there. If you can't access their phone and can't like look through their phone, that's a red flag. That being said, if they are like my ex-girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend had 2 different operating systems and 2 different phone numbers or 3 different phone numbers all on the same phone. So like, and she had programs to where she would put skins or graphics on top of stuff. So let me give you an example. She would sit there and it would look like she was searching and looking around on Amazon shopping, and really she's sending text messages to some dude or whatever. It took me like, I didn't know what was going on, and finally I realized that like through like the print spooler app, she was having screenshots sent to her phone over Bluetooth, like as if I was sending like print screen, like sending to her phone all the time. One time we got in the car and my Bluetooth connected, and all of a sudden it starts playing a conversation that me and her had like earlier in the morning or something. It was like a recorded conversation that me and her had. This was when I was like, okay, like our phones are hacked. And then she acted as if we were being watched and monitored. It was the weirdest thing. I finally one day lost my crap, right? I totally lost it with her. This is in St. Pete. And this is the day I realized that she was having data sent from my phone to her phone. I snapped her phone in 2 on a coffee table. And it like cut the glass, cut my hand. The phone like starts hissing and smoke. It catches on fire. The phone catches on fire. I kick the phone outside. Yo, the next like 3 or 4 days, this girl Kathy acted so depressed. Like she stopped doing her makeup, stopped doing her hair and everything. I was like, yo, man, who is she like making herself look good for? Because obviously it wasn't for me. The phone's gone now. She like is like letting, you know what I mean? I mean, I thought she still looked good for her. She was letting herself go down, go downhill. But you know, it was insane. So like that was when I started researching the narcissistic abuse and stuff, because she started calling me a narcissist, and I actually really, because the way my parents raised me and all the lies that I was told growing up, like I really did believe that I might be one. So in an effort to better myself, and like I was still in that phase, I was still in that mindset with my narcissist where I was like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What can I do differently? There's nothing that you can do differently. You're never going to be able to do anything to make them not be like total sex addicts. You know what I'm saying? And like total drug addicts. And if you have kids, yes, they are probably doing things to your kids too. I don't know how else to say this, because this is what happened to me when I was a kid. But you need to get your kids checked out down there. Get them checked out. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're period, I don't know how else to say it without being graphic. Um, so yeah, if you're with a narc, a real narc, a true narc, they're probably in a secret society. And this is why this ties in with my show and everything. My ex narc was 100% in one, 100%. She would slip up and say things about rituals and all this weird stuff, man. And she was always like, there was, oh man, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into all that today, right now. But like, there was a period of time when the group stalking was getting really aggressive where like I thought that she was the one being followed around. This is out west. It was obvious there was a couple people following us around, and I thought that they were following her around. But it became obvious after a while that she knew that the group stalkers were there. In fact, she was signaling to them. One of the common signals they do, especially for the women, is this right here. This is a very, very common one. And then the other one is this. And then this one. This is the one I get all the time. The sign of disapproval. Oh, I disapprove. I disapprove of you. I will put my hand right here. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, like I feel a little bit better now that I'm sitting here talking about this stuff. But like, it's a beautiful day outside. I went to work today, and like, I try not to let this stuff get to me. I try not to let it get in my head. But it's difficult after, because like I'm making a decent amount of money. And so after I've made like 200 bucks, 300 bucks, I just want to dip, because I'm like, I made $200, I made $300 today. Like, do I really need to keep taking this abuse? Do I really need to keep working? And the thing is that I do, because I have the opportunity, right? Like, you guys, I'm not exaggerating. I worked like boots on the ground today for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I made like, I don't know, $250, almost 300 bucks, I think. So like, I need to go out there and work, like 5 to 8 hours, boots on the ground, collecting signatures. If I do that, like 5 days, 6 days a week, I'll be walking with like 3 grand, 5 grand in a week, and I can go get a new car and all that stuff. It's hard for me, you guys. I mean, it's hard for me, because there are people that specifically come out to mess with me. And I'm at the point now where it doesn't really bother me anymore. I was able to work yesterday and be okay. Today, I just like, I have a lot of signatures, it's a really beautiful day. It's just when I have money in the bank from working that week, it's really hard for me to keep working, because I'm like, okay, I cleared $1,000 in a week. That's a good week. But this is a thing. I can do that in like 2 days, you guys. I can do that in 2 days. So this is the reason I'm saying all this stuff, is because like, I'm hoping that by talking about it and like admitting, like by talking about the things that are keeping me down, and which is all this stuff, by talking about the things that bother me, they hold less power over me. Every time I talk about this stuff and shine my flashlight on it, shine the flashlight on the dark things that don't want the light shine on it, they have less and less power over me. Just a week or two ago, I could barely go work, you guys. I mean, and there was about a week there where I couldn't go work and I didn't go work because I have a lot on my mind. You know what I'm saying? I do have a lot on my mind. And I wasn't going looking for this stuff. I wasn't going looking for, oh, these portal locations. And I wasn't going looking at my family. But when I was in Gainesville, something was seriously wrong. I realized my mother is involved with this stuff. I realized, and I proved to myself by going through old photo albums. Actually, I didn't really have to even go through them. It was like on the third or fourth page of the first album and the only album I was able to look at. And there was proof right there in photos that my mother had been lying to my face for the last like year and a half about all this stuff I keep bringing up to her about our childhood home, who designed it, all that stuff. So that weighed heavy on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like realizing that my parents are PEDs. That's not easy stuff. And then like I have to like go out there and collect signatures, and to collect signatures you got to be really nice. You got to eat a lot of crow from people mess with you, and a lot of them are just having fun, you know what I'm saying? But when you get the real a-holes, if you're not in a good mood, it can really set you off. So anyways, God willing, the good Lord willing, I'm going to turn in my paper tomorrow. I had a great week, even though I barely worked. I think I definitely cleared, like definitely cleared $1,000 this week, and so I'm hoping and I'm praying that this next week I will have the mental fortitude to go out there for 4 to 6 hours. Because if I stand there for 4 to 6 hours, I'm walking with $500. If I stand there for 6 hours, I'm walking with $500 a day. So, anyway, I'm saying this to encourage myself because I want to get back in a particular vehicle. It's only a matter of time until this car I have breaks down. All right, let's talk about the tracks for the day. And then I'm going to dip. What we have in the main room is a classic, and this is original vinyl, you guys. This is Astral Projection. Okay, the track Astral Projection. And let's see here. It's in decent shape. Actually, really good shape. It'll play perfectly. There's no scratches or any, well, maybe. One of the sides in perfect shape. Anyways, all right, so we got on the logo side, the Enlightened Evolution remix, and then on the other side, we got the original remix of the classic track. That's a classic track, Astral Projection. If you haven't heard it, check it out. And then this other track, I'm not really sure what it sounds like, except for I believe it's Psytrance. This is a really old track. It doesn't even have the year it was made, so it was probably made in the sometime in the late 90s or something like that, mid to late 90s. But it is. I'm going to have to put this up here. It's Tosuhu, Tyoussi, and the track's name is Shofou, Shofou. We've got the Choki's Choice Mix, that's Choci, and then the Choki's Essex Mix, and then we have the original mix and the original edit. And there's actually 2 vinyls in here. I'm not going to pull the other one out. So there's 8 tracks altogether. It's a double vinyl. And just to let you know, when this was originally purchased back in the 90s or whenever, I saw it on there earlier, this was like $17 for this double vinyl. This Astral Projection was $9.25, which is interesting. That's actually my birthday, 9/25. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the YouTube broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, new subscribers. I love you guys. I'm going to peace out.